Welcome, listeners, to a very exciting episode of Rhythm Encounter, RPG Fans Music Podcast. I'm your host, Marcos Gaspar, Wild Armor on the boards, and today we have a special guest with us. He's a multi-talented person, and like Bruce Wayne, he lives a double life. He's the CEO of the game company Enigami by day, while writing absolutely beautiful music by night. He's a charming person with a penchant for writing lovely thematic music and getting the job done. You might have heard the successfully funded Kickstarter game Shyness, the Lightning Kingdom. Well, if you haven't, you're going to find out right now, because today, folks, we have Hazem Hawash with us in the house. So greetings, how are you doing today, Hazem?
Hello. Hello, Marcos. I'm very happy to be with you, and thank you very much to have an interest about our project.
Absolutely. When I first heard about this, what was it, 3 years ago now?
Oh, well, I'm working on it since 7 years. It's been a long journey, and we started the real production 3 years ago, yes, after the success of the Kickstarter campaign. And if any backer is listening to us, I just want to tell them that we are very happy to have them on our community, and we enjoyed a lot working on this project, and we hope that the game fits their expectation.
Well, absolutely. I mean, for us, our RPG fan, we reviewed it, and we gave it a favorable score of 86% out of 100. And I feel that's true for us, at least for myself, because I find the game just, like, it's very colorful and very vibrant. It just pops out and speaks to you, and I really love that. But I don't want to jump too far ahead, because I actually want to talk about like what exactly the Shyness the Lightning Kingdom is. So can you give us a little background information on this wonderful game?
Sure. So Shyness is an action RPG that can be called a fighting RPG, actually, because we have been inspired a lot by all these RPG from the 90s, and also from fighting game like Naruto, Dragon Ball, or Street Fighter. And it began a long time ago when I read a web manga that has been made by our art director, and I read this web manga, and I was thinking that it was a good subject to make a video game. And since this manga has a lot of vibe coming from Naruto, One Piece, and shonen style, I thought that it would be very interesting to build a fighting game inside a RPG game. So Shyness, actually, it is a story of a planet that exploded a long time ago and created a space island. We call that Meteora. And in each space island, you have a special species that grown up, and at the beginning you are playing one of the species, like we call that the Wacky species, and from the Wacky you will play Shadow and Poki, who are two friends. And the particularity of Shadow is that he's seeing a spirit since his childhood. We call that a shyness. And this spirit is trying to go to a special place. And she's convincing Shadow to build a spaceship with his friend in order to go to this place. Shadow is the only one who can see the spirit, so everyone on his village thinks he's crazy. So his buddy Poki, he's his only friend, because Poki has no friend also. So Poki is just trying to he's convincing Shadow that he believes that Shadow is seeing a shyness, but Poki doesn't really think that he's seeing something. But he's just following him because it's his only friend. So they are traveling around the space. At the beginning of the game, during their journey, they are going to be hit by the thunder of the land of the humans. And they are going to crash into one of these space islands. And the first mission of Shadow is actually to find Poki, because Poki jumped before the crash, and this is the first mission of the player. And during your journey, once you find Poki, you will be involved into a conflict between some species, include human, in something like a war or something like that. But you see, it's very interesting to see the wacky side, the human side, and the other species side as well.
So that's an incredibly fascinating story, and that's something that drew me into the game. And like I said before, the game is incredibly vibrant and colorful. Like, the art direction is wonderful, and when you see art from the game, I'm just like drawn in by this. And you'll notice this in the very beginning, what you were talking about, Hazem, of the trying to find what was it, Poki?
Yeah.
Yes, in the wooded area. And when I first saw this, like on a YouTube video, I heard the music of it too, and this beautiful like percussion music, kind of like was it xylophones or marimbas playing. And whenever I hear that, I think of a wooded area. So even before seeing the video, I got that impression listening to the soundtrack, and I have to say, I really think you did a great job doing that. I enjoyed the music, and what I also noticed as well, which you did very well, and I thought, wow, this is the kind of music I like, is when you jump into the fighting, the battling, which you were talking about, the fighting, the music transitions into the battle theme, and I thought that was really neat.
Wow, thank you. It was an idea I had a long time ago. While I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, actually, the first version, the 1.0, I went to a dungeon and I listened to the music that evolved into the battle, and I thought it was very interesting, but it would be great to do that in every area of the game. So that's how I started to think about how can I create a music that can fit with battle music. Especially a battle music was for me very difficult to build, because it is a music you are going to listen the whole game, and I wasn't thinking. I tried to build a fighting theme, but it was too boring, and I was thinking it's not good. I need something new, and that's why I did that. I was thinking that it would be more interesting for the player to have. So each area has a special vibe you can feel into the exploration and also into the battle.
Yeah, absolutely. It adds a character into the place you're exploring. Like, when I first heard that, I thought of the game .hack, where you're exploring the dungeons of the game, and then when you enter a battle, usually it's an additional layer or two of instruments that get added into the mix. So the music's still there, but new things have been added, and then when it's all set, it just pulls back, and you're back to the original dungeon music, or in your case, the forest music from the battle. I think stuff like that is ingenious, works really well, and that gets me pumped too. That's just something I enjoy. I think you did a great job with that, and I'm actually curious, because you're both the producer and the composer of this game, and I want to know how you were able to juggle both those jobs.
Well, to be honest, my dream at the beginning was to be a music composer, because I'm a huge fan of music and of Japanese game music, but also West game music. Well, anyway, I was thinking that if I want to be a video game composer, I need to do something unique, and I can't just go to the market and say, hey, hello guys, I'm a composer, because I won't find anything. So I was thinking that if I create my own game, I could also do the music. And I think I was right, because knowing the game perfectly helped me a lot in order to compose the game. So, and also, since I'm the CEO, of course, and the producer of the game, so it was more easy for me to choose the direction I would take for the game. So I had these jobs each day, working on the game and on the company, and trying to develop and to manage and to have new recruitment, to have a great team. And I was working also on the game inside, so I developed the beginning of the game. I was coding the game, but also I managed a lot of the animation, and I took a lot of lessons of 3D and stuff like that. So it helped me a lot to understand how you can work on a video game industry, and it helped me a lot to make communication more easy, in order to build an idea I could have the day before. So that was the day, and when I was coming to home, I was thinking that I needed to make music. But what was very interesting is that sometimes I had some idea to compose a music for each part of the game, and it was the day. So I needed to be in a place lonely, recording my voice with my phone, to have to crystallize this idea. I could use the night the following night. So, well, I didn't sleep a lot those past 4 years, and it was a lot of weekend and night, and sometimes when we were in rush, and because we were very late delivering the game, I was away from work some days, and working at home to make music, to compose the music faster.
Oh wow, you talk about working around the clock. You were really doing it. And I was just joking about that Bruce Wayne bit. You really were living a double life, both as a producer, composer, and just other things. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm actually considering, because you undertook so much like a lot of burden with this, or rather just a lot of workload. Do you think for your next project that you might get maybe someone like another composer to help you out, or maybe someone else to help you with the project, so you can focus solely on composing?
Absolutely. During this experience, it was my first game, and I learned that I couldn't be Superman, and I can't do a lot of things like I did. And it cost me a lot, social life, health, and stuff like that. And of course, I love music, and I love creating video game, producing video game. But well, I had a long thought about that, and now I have people who are helping me for everything I was doing during the day, but also I'm not going to be I'm not sure if I will do or not do the whole music of our next game. But what I can tell you is that I'm very open now to work with other people. I think I needed to release my first OST, but I'm also thinking that working with other people in music can bring me a lot. I can learn a lot as well, and I can do maybe something higher quality. So this is the target.
Yeah, because from what I understand, you're not musically trained, correct? Like, you didn't go to school for music or to take any classes.
Absolutely. I was doing music at school, but it was just the school program. But I never learned how to make music. I was just listening a lot RPG music during the past years, and I've been unemployed for a few years, and that was the time I started to practice actually.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really interesting. And I'm like, because Shyness was your first major music project, and I'm sure that you were probably like thinking about music or the theme for that music or for that game, or even just a pretend game, like when you were much younger. Like, I'm sure like when you were younger, since you really love music and you want to be a composer, do you do what a lot of people were doing, or they do that on YouTube? They'll practice or play on a piano or something of their favorite video game or their anime opening or something like that.
Well, that's a project I wanted to do also, but I was actually thinking that I would conduct orchestra, and I was listening to symphonic orchestra music, and I was thinking I was a conductor, so I was imitating the conductor and trying to think that I was the guy who makes the arrangement and stuff like that. And this exercise, I was doing it every day when I was unemployed, because I was in love of all this great video game music. And that is also the way I started to listen classical music and trying to understand actually how it was made. And that is from this analysis that I started to make my own music.
Oh, that's really great, and I just like the passion that you have for this, and it just inspires me to hear this, because you just have this like energy and this like thirst for just wanting to do this, and that's incredibly amazing. And I do want to jump back to the music. Like, I'm actually really curious. I know that for most composers, like, I usually will ask them, but like, I'm not gonna ask you what was your favorite track or your favorite group of tracks from your soundtrack, but like, what tracks did you enjoy like writing the most? Like, what was a lot of fun to write?
You mean my favorite track?
Yeah. Oh, if you have favorite tracks, then by all means.
Wow, that's a very tough question, because I have a lot of well, I like every tracks, of course. I did, but some of them I listen to them too much. But I think the best, maybe the best music I made was the Great Plateau of Gendis, because it's very orchestral. I would say this one maybe, but it won't be my favorite. My favorite is changing every day, actually. So it's kind of a tough question, but I would say maybe the final boss music could be one of my favorite. Absolutely. I also love the special trailer 2. That's the last track. This is the music I made for the launch trailer. But the problem is, in the launch trailer, you don't listen to the whole music, because they cut a part to make to fit in a launch trailer format. But yeah, I would say the Great Plateau of Gendis, maybe the final boss, and the special trailer 2. But I know that a lot of people in the team love "We Are Under Attack." That is the music you heard when a war begin. Well, that's I think that will be my answer here. And I know also that we have a boss that is her name is Saba. She's a giant entity you can see in a lot of trailer. This boss was a huge challenge for me. It's in a multiple phase, and I need to do a music that was very dark at the beginning, that finished to something very positive, because all during the battle, you are Shadow is the hero of the game is more close to his mother. There is a story between Shadow and his mother, and Saba is like we call here in the team we call her mother because Saba means mother in the language we created, and the music needed to fit with the evolution of the battle that is coming from something very dark to something very positive, because Shadow, you will see there is a scene with Shadow and his supposed mother, well, at the middle of the music, I needed to mix something very dark and something very positive. So it was very interesting to do that. And the name of the track would be, let me just check. It's Come My Little Child.
I see. Track 11 on disc 2 for anyone that has the soundtrack.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to listen to that one, but now that you mentioned that, now I have to go back and carefully listen to that. And it's funny that when you had mentioned that your staff's favorite track was We Under Attack, I wrote that as one of my favorites too.
Oh.
I even wrote notes about it because this was one of my favorite track on discs too.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, like what I liked about it was like the militant percussion, which is generally the snare playing, and also like the violin playing. It's just a very like energetic, aggressive, and engaging piece. You just capture that emotion of war in there, and I think that's something that's very important, to be able to capture the emotion of something in the music. And you did a great job with it, and you're very successful in doing that for that piece. And for someone that hasn't had music training, or like professional music training, that's pretty good. And I know there are other people like that who didn't go to school specifically for like music theory and stuff, able to do that. And I'm always impressed by those type of people because they have this talent of doing that. And I just give them a round of applause to them because. Good for them. And this isn't downplaying people who are professionally trained, because they have like additional background information that's going to be able to enhance their own music. But on both terms, I'm just very impressed from both sides.
Thank you. Well, I think, my philosophy is to tell a story with the music. That's why I'm not in the music methodology or stuff like that. But what I try to do, and what I'm trying to do every day when I play music or compose music, is to tell a story. And I want that people who are listening to my music imagine the story. And I hope it will fit, the real story will fit with what they think about the story when they listen to it.
Yeah, and I think you do that well. And this is something I mentioned towards the beginning of our interview when you had mentioned the beginning where Pokey ends up jumping the ship and you end up in this wooded area. Like I gather that from your instrumentation. Like that's like I see a forest. I don't even need to see the game. That's what I hear. That's something that you successfully captured there, and I do hear that with your soundtrack. So you've accomplished that, and that's a great feat for any composer.
Thank you. I appreciate.
And with that said, I noticed that this is all done on like a computer or something. There's nothing recorded.
Yes, it's everything has been made with a computer, but I play guitar, and I was anyway trying to compose also with the guitar, especially all the electric guitar part. I needed to be sure that it will fit with it would be real. So that's why I didn't also. I didn't plug my guitar into my computer also, because I just didn't have the material to make something with quality. So I I prefer to make something more synthetic, but more how can I do that? How can I say that? Something more correct. Sorry.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. And with saying that, I'm actually curious. For your next project, do you plan on having like live instruments, whether it's like an ensemble, like a smaller one, or maybe an orchestra, or maybe just solo instruments playing with the synthesized music?
Actually, I'm living in Lille, in France. It's 1 hour from Paris, in the north, and been in touch with National Lille Orchestra. That is actually the best Europe orchestra in the whole Europe, and they asked me if I would be interested to play with them my music. So I'm very happy. And for the next project, for the furthest project, I am going to work with them with real instrument. I will do both actually. I will stay with my library in my computer because I like the way it feels real video game music and not Hollywood movie music. Because actually these days I think that the music we have on every video game that are released are too Hollywood movie music. We need to go back sometimes to what we liked before. That is what I think, and that's why I want to work with real instruments, but I want to stay into the 90s because I appreciate how it was simple and how it was telling us something. It was telling a story.
And I'm that might be going with just writing a simple theme to a music, because when I think of 90s JRPGs, I think of very simple themes, but they're still very catchy, like maybe a Nobuo Uematsu or even Koji Kondo, just very simple melodies, but just it just catches on and sticks with you.
Oh yes, absolutely. There are reference for me, and it feels simple, but if you take an orchestra that plays this song, it's absolutely insane. And that's why I want to stay in this kind of register, because I think that if some days an orchestra retakes my music, they can transform it to something very, very huge, very, very beautiful. And that's why I don't really like what we are doing with video game music these days, because you don't have this transformation that can happen.
Are you talking more about like music that's more atmospheric versus ones that have a clear, simple theme?
Yes, of course, but I like also atmosphere music. But the thing is, when you use real instrument for your video game, you don't feel like you play a video game, but more a movie that is a video game. Because
okay, I see what you mean now. Sorry, that was just my misunderstanding. Okay, I understand what you mean now. Okay,
don't worry.
I understand.
Sorry, it's my English is not very good today. So
no, you're fine. It was just me not getting it, me being a little bit of a slow poke on the uptake. But yeah, and like thinking, just going back to that like 90s music you were talking about, I also noticed when I looked at the soundtrack credits, there was another name on there. There was the Secret of Mana composer, Hiroki Kikuta. How'd you get that? Yeah. Oh, yes, Kikuta. I'm sorry. How'd you get that on there?
I have a backer on Kickstarter. His nickname is Seizui, and he character designed a character that is famous because it is the first boss of Shovel Knight. His name is Rise, and Rise is actually the ultimate boss in Shyness as well. And for this character, he asked Kikuta-san, because he was in touch with him, to make a theme for his character. And I was thinking that it was very interesting to have Kikuta on the game, so I asked Kikuta-san if it could be okay for him to put his music in the game for Rise, and he said, "Okay, let's do it," and that's how Kikuta-san was on the soundtrack.
Oh, that's actually very simple answer, but I like that, and I just think that's really cool because when I saw that name on there, I was like, "Whoa, love this composer's music." And then when I finally heard the track, I was like, "Whoa!" I really like when there's guest tracks from other composers, especially from like games that I really cherished as a child. Like for me, it was like Secret of Mana was one that everyone was hyping around up in my school at the time. So I said, "All right, I'm finally gonna play this." So I went.
And Secret of Mana is the main inspiration for Shyness. Secret of Mana is one of my favorite game ever, and of course it was a dream for me to have a soundtrack with my name and Kikuta-san name. And thanks to Kickstarter, thanks to a backer, I had this chance to meet him, and it's huge for me because it was a fantasy for me. I wasn't thinking when I was employed that 7 years later I would meet Kikuta-san and make music with him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, you just don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Then all of a sudden, all this happens. You create a game for your music, and you just meet people that are inspirations to you. That's just so cool.
That is the magic of the video game industry.
Yeah, it is, and and I'm just really impressed. And just in general, I just really enjoy this project. I think you did a great job on this. I'm looking forward to your next project, and for hopefully hearing like an orchestral arranged playing of your Shyness soundtrack. I think that's going to be cool. Having them work with you on getting your music played, because that's just like an achievement, and I'm just really glad for you. When I see people like achieving their dreams like this, it just makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, and just really happy for them.
Thank you. That's huge. Yes, it was, well, 4 years of work for this soundtrack. I've made like 400 music for Shyness, and it was very tough, but I learned a lot, and now I'm working for the third project. I hope that people will like my soundtrack. They remix it. I would be very happy to hear some remix or something around the music I made. I would be very happy. And yeah, that's all.
So I want to end with this question, and I think we all might know what the answer might be on this one. I'm still gonna ask it though, just to make sure. But if you had to choose your favorite soundtrack, what would it be and why?
My favorite soundtrack? You mean in any game, any movie?
Any video game. We'll do a video game.
Any video game? The best soundtrack ever? What it would be? Wow. That's impossible to listen to. That's impossible to answer. Well, maybe, let me think. Okay, I won't tell you my favorite soundtrack. I will tell you my favorite concert, because I think that was the best moment of music ever. It was in Cologne. It was the Final Fantasy, Chrono Cross, and Secret of Mana Symphonic Orchestra. It was a concert in Germany. I think the name was Symphonic Fantasy.
the Symphony Fantastique or something like that, or Fantasia. I think I know what a concert you're talking about. I just don't remember the name.
It's Symphonic Fantasy. Just type Symphonic Fantasies, and it was one of the best moments of my life when I hear them. It was huge. Okay, well, maybe the best soundtrack ever maybe would be Xenogear, maybe.
It's okay. Whenever I ask that, it's a loaded question. For some people, they have immediate answers. Others, they just can't focus on one, and that's understandable.
Because there are some genius track on each soundtrack, so...
Or maybe what's your best playlist, and then maybe you'll have a playlist with the best music of the best.
The best music of the best? I can answer to that. I would say the final boss of Final Fantasy VI, Kefka.
Oh gosh, that was one of my favorites, and it's just crazy, like how progressive it is, and just how it builds up.
It's insane.
Especially the fugue a little later into the piece. I think it's on the third layer, or like the second to last form. I was just really impressed by that track.
It's like a real opera or something. Well, I can imagine what happened in his mind when he did that. So it's just crazy. And I hope one day to be able to compose something like that. I think that will be my final challenge. So I have 20 years for starting now, thinking about that. But I think composing something like that, it's like an achievement. Maybe you can say to yourself, it's okay, I don't need to do something else.
And who knows, maybe like you said, working with someone else writing music, they'll help inspire you and get you there. So I can see that in the foreseeable, like what you said, 20 years future. So you have a lot of time to work on that. So that's really interesting. And again, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us about the music of your lovely game, Shyness the Lightning Kingdom, Hazem. And for anyone interested in picking up Shyness, it's available on PC through Steam, as well as on the PS4 and Xbox through their digital marketplace. And if you have any questions, or rather comments, questions, or suggestions for RPG Fan music, you can always send them to music@rpgfan.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes if you enjoy the show. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, Hazem.
Oh, thank you, and sorry for my horrible accent, and my English was not very good today, but I enjoyed a lot this moment. I think it was the first time I had the opportunity to speak only about the music, so it was cool also for me, and I hope people enjoyed, and I hope, of course, they will listen to what I did and enjoy it.
Absolutely. I think people, when they finally learn about this game and hopefully listen to this podcast and to discover it, they'll listen to the music, because I recommend it. I enjoyed this, and I think other people would too. And this has just been a pleasure speaking with you. You're very informative, and it was just it's a great chat. And I learned much more about both the game and yourself, and I think that's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And to end things, I'm Marcos Gaspar, speaking here with Hazem Hawash, and you've been listening to RPG Fans Rhythm Encounter. See you later.